Your grandparents had a TV, your parents had a PC, and Gen Z is quietly walking away from both. Something nobody expected is happening in 2026. The first generation that grew up entirely online is abandoning the operating systems that raised them. They are switching to Linux, and the reasons should terrify Apple and Microsoft. If you opened Windows 11 last week, you saw ads in your Start menu, in your File Explorer, in your lock screen. If you opened macOS, you saw a notification asking you to subscribe to iCloud. Again, your laptop is no longer a tool. It's a billboard, a subscription terminal, a surveillance device. And Gen Z is the first generation that grew up watching all of it happen in real time. They watched Cambridge Analytica. They watched TikTok bans. They watched Apple promise privacy while scanning their photos. They watched Microsoft cram AI into Notepad, into Paint, into the calculator, things nobody asked for. They watched everything they own slowly turn into something they merely rent. Their phones locked down, their laptops locked down, their cars locked down, their thermostats locked down. And one day, they realize something nobody really talks about. You don't actually own your laptop. You own the right to keep using it until someone else decides otherwise. And once that idea lands, it doesn't unlock. You start seeing it everywhere. The forced updates, the recommended apps you never installed, the features stripped out in the name of progress. And that is why this is happening. Search Linux Rising on TikTok. Millions of views. Teenagers showing off custom desktops the way they used to show off bedrooms. Dot files, tiling window managers, terminal screenshots. It's the new aesthetic. A teenager rebuilding their entire workflow from scratch isn't being a nerd. They're reclaiming a piece of their life that big tech took without asking. Not because Linux is easier, it isn't. Not because it's prettier, it can be, but that's not the point. It's because when you finally use a machine that doesn't manipulate you, you realize how broken everything else has become. Your battery stops dying mysteriously after updates. Your CPU stops spiking for no reason. Nothing pings home, nothing sells your behavior, nothing pops up trying to upsell you. There is no Cortana, there is no Copilot quietly screenshotting your screen every few seconds. There's no algorithm sitting between you and the thing you're actually trying to do. The fan stops, the machine just works. And here's the part that hits hardest. Your 7-year-old laptop, the one Windows said was unsupported, runs Linux like it's brand new. Suddenly, the whole "you need to upgrade" story just collapses. A laptop you were told to throw away just became the freest computer in your house. Apple wants you replacing your MacBook every 3 years. Microsoft wants you on a subscription for the rest of your life. Linux wants nothing from you, because nobody owns it. No IPO, no shareholders demanding more engagement, no CEO who needs a bigger yacht next year. And that is the real reason Gen Z is switching. It was never about the operating system, it was about ownership. It's about a generation that grew up renting everything, finally deciding to own one thing. Their music, rented from Spotify, their movies, rented from Netflix, their identity, rented from Instagram. But their computer, that they took back. And once you finally own one thing, you start asking why you don't own anything else. 10 years ago, the MacBook was the cool laptop, the status symbol, the creator's machine. Today, in serious developer circles, a brand new MacBook quietly signals that you don't know any better. The new Flex isn't a $1,000 logo, it's a refurbished ThinkPad running arch. Walk into a hackathon in 2026. Count the MacBooks, then count the ThinkPads covered in Linux stickers. The ratio is flipping. And this isn't just a developer story anymore. Privacy-conscious teenagers, anti-surveillance journalists, artists tired of subscription Photoshop, students who can't afford another forced upgrade. All of them quietly switching to something free, fast, and actually theirs. Steam Deck, running Linux, selling by the millions, even gaming, the last real excuse to stay on Windows, is starting to collapse. Here's what should scare Apple and Microsoft the most. Switching to Linux used to take an engineering degree. Today it takes a USB stick and 20 minutes. Distros like Ubuntu, Mint, and Pop! OS just work, out of the box. No subscriptions, no ads, no spying. And once you experience an operating system that respects you, going back feels like crawling into a cage. The first time one keyboard shortcut makes your entire desktop respond instantly, something in your head shifts. You realize you've been waiting for computers your whole life. Not because they're slow, because they're loaded with things you never agreed to. So the next time your laptop shows you another ad in the Start menu, or another pop-up asking you to subscribe to something you already paid for, remember that an entire generation just stopped accepting it, quietly, privately, without permission slips. 5 years from now, You'll either be a tenant on someone else's operating system, or you'll be one of the people who took back control of the most important tool you own. The migration is already happening, quietly, one install at a time. The only question is, which side will you be on?